Hello Internet, welcome back to our Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead series. In the last episode, we were planning to loot a police station and then follow up by going to a doctor's office. However, we encountered a Yug, which is a mildly dangerous creature, and we were kind of trying to work out how to deal with it, how to shoot it, but it kept going underground. So we chose to ignore it instead and started to jackhammer our way into the police armory or evidence locker, whichever it was. Unfortunately, we stopped partway through because we were being spotted by a flaming eye, and not only that, but there were other nether creatures about as well. And honestly, if you've never seen a flaming eye in the game, your immediate reaction should be to flee immediately and move out of the area. So I was a little salty for sure that we had to completely change our plans. We headed south in an effort to get to the bookstore and libraries that we still want to loot. And then we settled in, which is where we are now. We're going to be dealing with some monster density, and we're going to be dissecting a shocker zombie that we killed in the last episode. So that's quite a long intro. Welcome back, everyone. I'm not having a great time with the results of our last episode, but we're going to try to ignore that and press on anyway. Sorry, I get a little salty sometimes when I have a plan in place and then it just sort of falls apart through no fault of my own. So let's clear out these remaining zombies here, and then we will butcher this shocker zombie as well. It looks like we didn't hit you very well. Oh, we're only hitting for 6 and 9 damage. Grazing hit. I'm using the P command. Okay, so at this range, we have a good chance of not really hitting them, so we should let them get closer instead of wasting that ammunition like that. Bloated zombie spotted. So, oh, my mini-map is screwed up because I was on Discord again. So that looks to me like they're coming from the park, which ferals are very common in the parks as well, so that's a pretty good chance that's what's happening here. Which means we're close enough that some of the enemies are going to be hearing us. We are far enough away that they won't all come at us. Just from the distance that we are, not all of them are going to be loaded in and hearing that noise. We're going to keep an eye on this. If more than, say, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them come, we're going to hop in our car and drive away because we really can't afford to be overwhelmed. We'll move to the south a bit to further insulate us from that noise reaching those zombies. And again, we talked about this in the last episode, we're wearing armor that's potent enough to completely deflect the thrown rock ability from the ferals. Should be perfectly fine. In fact, I'm going to let you get close. Of course, you hit my backpack. Like the one thing, it reflects off your torso. The one thing you could have hit, and you ripped my backpack. I hate you so much. Alright, so we'll just put them down. You were attacked. Oh no. It reflects off your torso. Yeah, again, our armor is good enough that that's not a concern. So let's let that gas dissipate. We're not seeing any more coming down. Yes, we are. We did see a child zombie up there as well. So there's obviously a pupating zombie up there. That's going to slow them down considerably. I think we want them to see us. Oh, there's a big cluster right there, huh? Okay. You're still not a huge concern. How much ammunition? Should be fine. I would like some of you... Man, yeah, we can clearly see the park now. We do want to lure them, but preferably only a few at a time, because the parks are just so densely packed with enemies. Man, and they're full of kid zombies too. I hate parks so much. I know that they were nerfed, but I hate them. Alright, well, I would love for some of you to spot me, but not all of you spot me. That spitter is a mild concern. I don't know how else to do this, Internet. We want to clear this out so we can get to these bookstores. Excuse me, sorry, still experiencing some throat issues. That pool is just going to be miserable to clear out as well. I really want this. I want to go to the bookstores though. I want the forging books because we really would like to, like, the steel spear is fine, but I would really like an end game forging weapon, and they do require a book for that. What we could do is use our vehicle as a weapon. I don't really want to do that. Again, we have broken windshields, so they can just pop in our vehicle. Some of them are moving off. Let's move up and hopefully get the attention of just like 1 or 2 of them. I wish you could see me. and we want to be really cautious. I should be checking the V menu. It's much easier to see at a glance. Okay, so the fat zombie has spotted me. We're going to back off. When we shoot him, it will probably lure a few more towards us. So we'll back off, let them come down. I'm not sure where this other zombie... Oh, so they're still way up there. And of course, we want to pulp these corpses. In fact, I should do that between waves of enemies in case we have to leave. So we popped off a few rounds. Let's see how many come down. Ignore. Spitter zombie, we just need to keep an eye on the spitter because of the acid attack. Looks like some of you heard me, so we'll back off and let them trickle down. I really don't want to get too far from our vehicle in case we do need to retreat and drive away. So these are very fast. I'm guessing they're ferals. One is a feral, one is a spitter. I didn't think spitters were very fast. It is faster than you, really. Although our speed is currently penalized, which is probably why. We're in pain and we have the heat slow down. Why am I in pain? Probably from the heat. Because you can get pain from being really hot, right? But we're not that hot. We're happy. Life is good. Of course it is. You just saw a horrible flaming eye, but yeah, your life is great. It's the slowdown from the temperature mostly. I wonder what's causing me the pain. I don't think we were in melee combat at any point. So we're going to zoom out because I would like to take shots at the spitter before it gets close. So the strategy, we haven't seen a spitter in a long time because a while back someone changed the way evolution works. So they're much less common than they used to be. So a spitter is probably the least threatening. I mean, wretched puke. So the acidic line goes wretched pukers, acidic zombie, spitter, corrosive zombie. Corrosive zombie hands down is the most dangerous one out of all of them. And then any of them that have the acid barf, which is all three of them except for the spitter, they can deal the most damage to you. However, they're weak, they're slow. The acidic zombies and the wretched pukers are very easy to evade. Now, a spitter is just different from the other ones. Instead of having acid barf, which requires it to be in melee range, it can actually spit acid at you. And the further you are away, if you can be on the very outskirts of its range, it will spit, but it's highly, highly inaccurate. So unless that's changed, it's like almost 100% it's going to miss us. If it hits us, that's real bad because it will put a big puddle around us that we'll have to move through multiple tiles to escape. If that happens, we will kill these two, drive away immediately because we're going to need probably a day or two to recover from that. But we're going to stay on the outskirts of its range. If it spits, that's really... should miss us. It should miss us. We killed it in one shot. We actually criticaled, which is surprising given how low a percentage chance we had for that. But that's really good news. Again, they're very unlikely to hit us, but if it hit us, it's very, very bad. So we'll deal with you as well. Let's see what else is coming down. We do have one more, a pupating zombie looks like. We're actually going to let that come to us. And in fact, I think I'll have you wrap over this way. And we'll just coat as much of the ground with this pupating sludge as possible. That way, if enemies do come at us, we'll have a good chance of them being slowed down because they'll have to walk through the sludge trail. I imagine this gets washed away by the rain, but we're not really, you don't see rain that much in Cataclysm anymore. I'm gonna drop this rucksack immediately. And we now have the horde coming at us. Okay, so I guess we were a little too close. How many? Okay. We have 7 enemies coming at us. We have about a third of a clip. Third of a magazine in our gun. Dog and children are going to be the biggest concern because they're hard to hit. Let's sprint around the sludge trail. And we wanted to sprint because we don't want them to get too close to our vehicle and start attacking our vehicle because it's between us and them. And we're going to move this way. And now we're going to start taking shots. Look like the dog actually made it all the way around the vehicle. But from here, we should hopefully have pretty easy time doing this. Because the sludge trail will slow them. There were 7 of them. It looks like no more are coming. How many rounds do I have left? 4 rounds. Reload your magazine. And we should be just fine here. It was already going to be an easy fight just because these were not highly evolved creatures, but we still wanted to put the sludge between us and them on the off chance that they clustered up and came at us. Just for some basic strategery, I guess. So we'll put them down. So nice and easy. We do have one more zombie child up here, which looks like it might be moving through the sludge trail. Yeah, so that explains why it's going so slow. We really don't want to go up to it because, again, our gunshots will draw enemies from surrounding tiles. And I really want to get in there. I want to pulp these corpses, and then I would like to reload my magazines before we encounter another horde here. So we don't want to pulp the shocker zombie that we saw. So we want to check every corpse before we pulp it to verify it's not the shocker zombie. Really nothing is going to be on these corpses, of course. The zombie children still have drugs on them occasionally, but for the most part, not going to be anything we want. Feral humans are interesting, of course, because they have non-filthy gear, because they're not covered in, you know, zombie gore and filth. Unfortunately, still very damaged gear. The leather touring suit, it's so damaged we probably won't get much out of it, but it's a big garment that's made of leather, so we could possibly get some leather out of that as well. So we'll smash them. Decayed zombie, we'll take some rolling tobacco and papers, and that sleeping pill, I suppose, although I never use sleeping pills. And a full lighter, we'll take that, why not? Pulp you. Shocker zombie, do not pulp that one. Baseball bat, also very good find. That's true as well. Zombie children have a high percentage of the baseball bats, is a pretty common drop for them. So that's something you should prioritize if you're in the early game. Baseball bats are very good in the early game, and you can very easily make them into nail bats, which are slightly improved versions of the baseball bat. So I think we will grab that, which is too long for us to pick up, of course. So we will use advanced inventory to pull that at our feet, and then we'll haul that back to our vehicle. We'll just keep an eye out to the north, because if they come at us, that's a problem. And yeah, internet, once again, we're just kind of settling into what will be a long batch of us clearing out enemies. We already did this when we cleared the northern part of town, but of course, a lot of monster density in Cataclysm, especially in parks and pools. Let us dissect this corpse while we are able to. Shocker zombie, dissect, while we have some time before the rest of the horde comes. Zombie spotted. I'm gonna ignore you. Please don't come and attack me. Okay, and we do see the sludge trail dissipating. I'm wondering if it's raining. Zombie's dangerously close. Yes, stop. So that's very annoying because I believe that you cannot resume dissection. I believe that dissection is something you have to restart from scratch. So after we kill, I really wish you would have just bled to death. Oh, you did while I was aiming at you. Because we can't resume dissection, as far as I know, we'll have to completely start over. Of course, you lodged yourself in the one spot of my vehicle that you could have gone in. We'll have to start from scratch, which is very frustrating when you're trying to do it with zombies around, because obviously zombies will continually interrupt you. Nothing on the zombie child. So what I'm going to do is haul the corpse to a somewhat more secluded area where hopefully we will not be disturbed, but the reality is even if I put the vehicle between us and them, there's a good chance they'll find their way over here anyway. So let's try dissection. Hopefully this is enough. So we lost that time investment, of course, that we had started dissecting, so now we have to eat up a full other hour of our time, which is unpleasant. Here comes a huge boomer. Okay. Faulty power storage is good. We already had one, but, you know, power storage obviously is one that you need quite a few of. And then we have the cable charger CBM. I believe this one lets you connect directly to a vehicle and charge through the vehicle's battery power, which is a really good one to have. I mean, it's fine. They're fine. The fact that we got 2 out of it, you know, we have basically you get 2 rolls when you dissect them. I don't think you can get 3. I think it's just you always get 1 or 2 depending on your skills. So we actually had 2 successes there. I think at this point the park should be cleared enough that there's probably only like 8 or 9 more of them. if it was pre-nerf or post-nerf, but if this was generated before the park changes, there could be another 25 up there. So I think I'm gonna risk it. We're just gonna start popping off rounds from up here. Let's zoom out so I can see you. We'll just aim until we get a decent aim here. Ignore the boomer. You're probably not gonna get close enough to me to really be an issue. And let's wait around and see what else comes out to play. See another boomer, another zombie. I really wish that sludge trail had stuck around a little longer. That's okay. So let's push up, see what we can see. Really not a lot. We did clear a fair bit of them, obviously, but you can't see me either, huh? Let's move a little closer. There's one, there's two. That'll do for now. And on the plus side, all this shooting is going to draw enemies out from the nearby buildings, so we can pretty much assume at this point that the fast food restaurant and this house probably don't have monsters in them, or if they do, they're in the basement or the second floor, because they obviously would have come out during all this ruckus of the shooting. Same with this section of town as well. Like, the office here is very likely clear just because of the amount of shooting we've been doing. We'll just clear out the enemies. I suppose we should have gotten something to talk about. How long? We have 16 minutes in. Let's get a random question. Okay, haven't gotten a random question in a while. We've been mostly just talking about life stuff, and the heat wave keeps coming up. Scroll, we'll click one. Should kidneys be able to be bought and sold? What a peculiar question. All these questions are so ridiculous every time we get one. Should kidneys be available for purchase and sale? So the reality is it's illegal to sell body parts, at least in the United States. It's completely illegal. You cannot do it under any circumstance. You can arrange for private donors. So like, let's say I need a kidney transplant and I'm extremely wealthy. I can say, hey, here's a $1 million reward for someone who comes forward and donates their kidney to me. That is, as far as I know, kind of a gray legal area. It's permittable. It happens, I mean, probably not very commonly. But if you're super rich, you're not going to have trouble getting an organ. Whereas if you're, Joe Schmo who, makes $30,000 a year and lives in a, a small trailer with his big family that he can barely afford to support himself, you don't have that option. That's why those people tend to be on waiting lists for a really long time and things like that. But should it be available for actual outright purchase and sale? No, not really. I don't think that that's a good thing. I think the moment that you open that up, you will have people harvesting each other for organs. And I don't think that that's super common. Everyone's heard that story, right? Growing up, you're like, oh, you meet a nice girl and you go to sleep that night and you wake up in a bathtub full of ice with your kidney missing. And it's like a very common old tale that people tell you, And I'm sure things like that have happened historically, but I don't think that that's common. I think that, I don't think that that's something that happens very much. I think that, maybe in the history that has happened, but I think that the moment you open it up to a completely legal channel where it is completely legal to buy and sell body parts, I think that at that point you run into people who will make money off of it. We've already seen, man, you are just taking... I'm grazing hits, huh? You're very fast, which is a concern. I really need to sleep as well, because I believe we're weary. Oh, we're actually not weary. We have been mostly shooting instead of melee combat. We're gonna fall back. We are close enough that I'm guessing some of the pool enemies might have heard our gunshots, which we are not prepared for. We want to clear the park and then kind of spend a night relaxing and recuperating. Because we are somewhat injured, we do still have a cold, we have some stuff going on, so. Looks like we've mostly cleared it at this point. But yeah, the moment you open that up, there will be people. There are already human beings who traffic other humans, and it's not a far stretch of the imagination to imagine that they'll harvest people for organs. There are a lot of murders that take place across the world, and it's not really crazy to me to think that those people who might be committing a drug murder or something, a gang-related killing, a cartel somewhere, is going to be killing people anyway. So it's not unreasonable to me to think that they would start harvesting them for organs as well. And it sounds like a pretty horrible, kind of tragic way to go. And I think that any encouragement of that is bad. Legalizing it, I think, would be negative. I do think it would open up the pool a little bit more. I do imagine there would be some young people who are like, well, I mean, I need money for college. Yeah, I'll donate a node of my liver and get paid, 10 grand for it or whatever. And that'll help me buy a new car or pay for a few classes or whatever. So I do think there would be like a legal side of it where people would choose to do it to make a little extra money. But I just think it sets a really bad precedent for things. And again, organ transplants are always hugely in demand constantly. Like everyone should be an organ donor. I'm an organ donor. And, if I were to pass away, I would like for my organs to be used if possible, to possibly save someone's life or even just to prolong their life or whatever. I believe in that kind of thing. But being able to charge for it, it just kind of rubs me wrong. I don't think that that's a good call. I don't know though, if I suddenly needed a kidney transplant and no one was coming forward and there was no chance I was going to get a transplant, then yeah, I might feel completely different. I might think like, well, why shouldn't I be able to buy someone's kidney? Maybe if I could throw some money at this, or I mean, and if it was legal, you could just take instead of like having to pay a bunch of money up front, if it was legal, you could maybe get a loan to support, purchasing an organ that you desperately need or something like that. So I guess I don't know. It just, my knee-jerk response is like, no, people would abuse that and kill people to steal their organs. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think. So what I want to do here, we definitely need to eat because we are already underweight as it is. We're not underweight, but we are approaching underweight. So we want cooked meat here again, just to get as many calories as we can. We're going to sleep. And I think when we wake up, I'm going to put new windshields on this. And the reason for that is because we still need to clear the pool, and it would be much easier if we could just drive through them. And we really can't do that with these missing windshields. If I were really smart, I would put reinforced windshields on here. But unless we find a military vehicle making, I don't even know what it's called. We would need pane of reinforced glass, or is it sheet? I think it's the sheet we need to install. And in order to make that, we need 4 panes of reinforced glass. In order to make that, we need glue, wire, and glass. And you'll see it takes a pretty long time. We'd need 8-hour investment just to make the materials, plus another 45 minutes to make the object. And we would need, 6 of those to make for our vehicle? So quite a lot of time investment. So I don't think we'll be doing that. You can peel them directly off of other vehicles. If we found a military vehicle, some of them have the reinforced windshields. But this doesn't seem likely. The other issue here is that I'm just realizing we can't sleep in here because of the light. And because enemies will be able to see us through the vehicle. Because we don't have windshields. Did not even occur to me. Okay, well, let's eat our dinner of cooked meat here. I really wish I could stand on the workbench so I could eat directly from that tile. Just pick up the meat. Eat the meat. Great. Laggy for some reason. Always exciting when that happens. And then let's have ourselves something to drink here. So we're not going to sleep yet. We could try clearing into a house. Replacing the windshield's probably going to take me several hours. We're not that tired. We haven't been tired for very long. It's only been like an hour or two. So let's see about peeling a windshield off. What are the tools in my inventory? Wrench, scalpel. Let's drop this other stuff because we're going to have to carry glass panes as well. Drop this stuff. Don't need any of this. Definitely don't need any crack. Don't need a lighter. Okay. So I think I have the tools necessary to peel off a windshield. I don't think we need a hacksaw. It's possible, but I don't think so. Let's see if we can rip off a windshield here. Remove is O. and we'll remove a windshield, see what it requires. You do need a hacksaw. Kind of strange, to be honest. What I would like is for you to either have to make your own windshield, or you remove the entire windshield from a car and replace it all as one part, but we don't have the functionality for that. So I need my hacksaw. Great. And this is why we pick up duplicates. If you'll remember, this is one of the items that disappeared when I updated my game. If we didn't have duplicates, we would obviously be locked out of repairing our windshield right now, which would be very bad indeed. So let's pull out some windshield panels. Shouldn't take too long. 18 minutes to remove. It's not great because we are losing daylight here actually any moment. Ignore. Please don't come over here. I would really like to get these installed before the sun goes down. Although if the sun goes down, we can just sleep in the vehicle because it'll be dark. And we won't need to make a blindfold or anything like that. Let's see if we can install this bad boy real quick. Did the curtains get destroyed as well when the windshield got destroyed? They did. So I would need sheets as well, so we would have to go to a house. Okay. Let's install windshield. Oh god, we have to do this again. So this is the front left, but not a corner. I think this is right. If it's not right, we're just leaving it. I really... So that menu, this menu here, it was the right tile. So this menu here, it does not show you... I don't think you can show... So let's go into it. So what we want here, I think, is front right. So what we would really like here is like a small image from the tile set so you could see which one it was to verify that you're installing the right one. Because some of these are named very accurately, but some of them, it's confusing. Like what is just the plain windshield? What is that? Is that just the center of the windshield? Doesn't that change depending on if it's the front of your vehicle versus back a tile? So like I just don't know what some of that stuff means. And it's not that they're all ambiguous, like obviously they're detailed, front left corner, front left, etc., etc. But it would just be so much easier if we could see the sprite here. But again, this is a text-only menu as far as I know, so I don't think you, like I literally don't think you can do that. But otherwise, it's very difficult sometimes to know what tiles to install. Looking at my vehicle now, you can see it's janky. Like this does not line up right, and I think it's because I installed the wrong thing, and it just doesn't seem quite right. And then as we turn our vehicle, the sprites change, and there are some times when we're driving where I'm like, that doesn't look right. I must have put that on wrong. So I don't know. So we don't have curtains. What I think we'll do is drive to the forest. And it's not that nothing bad exists in the forest, because there's obviously bad things in the forest, but it should put us far enough away from the majority of zombies that we should be okay to sleep. Because remember, we don't necessarily... We see a grinning coyote literally as I approach. We see a hostile... Were it not for the misshapen snout and visible teeth, this would look like an ordinary northeastern coyote. Closer inspection of its mouth reveals row after row of serrated shark-like teeth. Hooray! Okay. Give me my gun. Drop the spear. Oh god, we need to stop driving. We might destroy our spear if we run over it. Stop driving. Pop open the door. You're hostile, but you're not approaching. Oh, you can't see me. Oh, I thought it said it could see me. You're hostile, but you just don't have very good night vision. We see very far. It must be a bright night. So I'm really surprised they don't see us, but we're obviously going to shoot them because they are hostile. And of course, this is a mutant creature. This is not a standard coyote, as illustrated by the rows of shark teeth. There are 3 of them, and they seem to be much, much faster than us. So we really need to be careful about missing shots. You're not approaching me. Okay, well, we did put one down. You would think they'd be more responsive. Now they're running away. Why are you running away? You're not an animal. You're a mutant. So why would you have the same fear triggers as other animals? My dogs are barking because my neighbor's outside thumping around like for no reason. Alright, so we're not going to sleep here. We're going to turn around. And I guess we'll just sleep up here facing this direction, which unfortunately will expose us to zombies if any of them see us, which is not great. On the plus side, from the rear, we shouldn't be able to see too much. Yeah, so hopefully they can't, nothing meanders through there. And those coyotes shouldn't be able to track us, I don't think. You would think the exhaust from a vehicle would dilute your smell. I don't know if that's how it works or not. We're going to try to sleep. We're going to wake up as soon as the sun comes up, assuming we sleep that long anyway. And with my luck, we're going to wake up with a flaming eye in our freaking vehicle, because that just seems to be how things go. And I forgot to take cold medicine before we went to sleep, so we're coughing a lot. That's okay. We'll take a shot of cough syrup when we wake up. Calorie messages as well, of course. Anyway, I don't know about selling organs. It just seems like something that's a recipe for people to take advantage of it and do bad things. Oh, I'm sleeping extremely slowly. It's only progressed like 2 hours. Okay. Well, that's fine. Anyway, it just seems like something people would exploit. I do think there would be good in it. I think that, you know, not only would people make money, you know, to say donate portions of their liver, for instance, which is a low impact thing, but it could also lead to people who are like, yeah, I desperately need money, take one of my eyes, you know, whatever. I mean, obviously it's an outside shot that someone would be willing to do that. I just think it opens up so much of exploitation where, like, you know, less reputable countries might harvest people for organs to make extra money, or criminal syndicates would do that, or, you know, people who are mentally ill but want money, they might decide, oh yeah, start lopping off body parts, and they might not understand the consequences of what they're doing. So I just think that enabling that opens a huge can of worms that is like, could be very, very harmful for certain groups of people, you know? Like, just think about, like, oh, you know, a person experiencing homelessness who maybe is mentally ill suddenly hears that, oh yeah, if you donate one of your kidneys, they'll give you a couple grand. And so they're like, sure, I'll donate a kidney. And it's like, you know, they might not understand the implications of, like, you're losing possibly a pretty significant portion of your own life to give someone else, you know, a few extra years or whatever the situation is. They might not understand the implications that, like, yes, you will live not as long if you give up one of your kidneys. And stuff like that. It's just one of those things that I think opens things up to a lot of I don't know, just exploitation and stuff like that. Cook some meat, have ourselves a breakfast here. You can't see the craft, of course. Let's pop this windshield. Oh, we see enemies immediately? Of course we do. So this is lucky that we didn't just leave our vehicle where we were. I guess we failed to pulp a couple of them, so they resurrected. You know what, we'll deal with this in the next episode. For now, everybody, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more content in the near future, and I'll see you next time.